Ladies and gents, I'm back once again. WWE Raw Review, WWE Raw. I'm about to hop right on into it. First, I'd like to say hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified of every video that I make. Also, you can find me on Twitter at OMGCoreyB and at 2SweetPod. So, let's get right on into this. Not going to waste any more of your time. We started Monday Night Raw with the big dog Roman Reigns. He came out to ringside, talked about Brock Lesnar, talked about how Brock Lesnar got involved in this Hell in a Cell match and challenged Brock Lesnar to come down to ringside. And then that brought out Braun Strowman. He wanted a piece of Brock Lesnar as well. And he said that he was coming for Roman Reigns after that. And that brought out, and I hate these promos, by the way, the interruption promos. Like, can we write another start to Raw? Because we've been having this same promo, and somebody else comes out, another person comes out for like the last however many months now, for like the last year or so. But anyways, moving on, Baron Corbin came out and made a match to settle everyone's problems. It will be in Saudi Arabia. It will be a triple threat match: Reigns versus Lesnar versus Braun Strowman, title on the line at WWE Crown Jewel. And I find that interesting because, man, Brock's back once again. And reports are that Brock is making a meal off of this, $1 million off of this one match. That is crazy, man. And I always say, for the people that hate Brock Lesnar, I always say that, look, you're hating the wrong person. I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game. You should be hating Vince McMahon. He'd want paying him. I mean, if I was a wrestler, I'd come back for one match and make $1 million too. If they offered it, sure. Don't have to. So, I mean, don't hate Brock, hate Vince. Anyways, the segment was solid, even though I don't like the format. I'm sick of the interruption format. Segment was solid enough to build to Saudi Arabia, even though we were building to many things with WWE. But moving on after that, and as I forgot something as well, Corbin actually made a match with Roman Reigns. He booked himself into a title match, and once I heard that, I was like, oh man. But I'll get into that later. Main event. Moving on, Dean Ambrose versus Drew McIntyre. This was a really good match. Might have been the best match of the show. And Drew McIntyre, I mean, the dude is just so believable coming out of that curtain. And him and Dean Ambrose has great chemistry as well. Dean Ambrose lately, in his latest return, him coming back and his deliberate style, working as a heel, has been really good. And in this match, he was working the limbs of Drew McIntyre. I found it to be a really nice aspect of Dean Ambrose's offense that we did not see in his previous run in WWE before the injury. So I found this match to be really good. I really wish they would have gone down this route and the singles match with Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler at Hell in a Cell and send the tag team titles to somebody else. But it is what it is. I really enjoyed this match. I really found it to be enjoyable. And Drew McIntyre picked up the win with the Claymore. Much needed win for Drew McIntyre. And this feud continues. We'll see how it all shakes out going forward. I'm worried about Dean Ambrose because he's starting to feel normal now. Like, the new is starting to wear off on his return. And like, I just don't want him to get stale because he's caught up with the Shield. He's caught up in a tag team with Seth Rollins. I think we really should have started this Dean Ambrose singles run right out of the gate, instead of reforming the Shield and tagging up with Seth Rollins. But we'll see how it goes moving forward. After that, McIntyre met up with Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin, and Baron Corbin made a match. It will be Rollins and Ziggler later on in the night, and he said that if Rollins didn't show up, Ziggler would win via forfeit, and Ziggler agreed. So after that, we had Natalya and the Bellas, and we had this weird segment to where Natalya talked with Ronda Rousey, and Ronda Rousey wanted to do an open challenge, and it was like Ronda Rousey was saying that she didn't know how to do it, and Natalya was explaining to her how to do it, and it was just a weird segment and nothing I really got into at all. So we would have a Ronda Rousey open challenge later on in the night. Next up, we had Chad Gable versus Victor, and I gotta say that Man, the Ascension versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. This feud, like, it's like the same thing every week. They're giving it like 3-4 minutes. The same tag matches. This time we get a singles match. I don't know why. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode has won every single match. And nothing special going on in this match as well. Chad Gable picks up the win. It just feels like this match and this feud is just here so that Bobby Roode can turn heel on Chad Gable, and like we're just waiting for it to happen, and things are just not playing out yet. We just have to wait out for it some more. Post-match kind of laid out Roode and Gable. So after that, we had the Undertaker come down to ringside to hype the Super Showdown match with Triple H. He talked about how Triple H was delusional, and he talked about how Triple H was once a warrior, but now he has traded that in to be a suit. This promo was decent enough. He also said that Kane would be in his corner, as would Shawn Michaels would be in Triple H's corner. Look, the promo is decent enough. I love The Undertaker. I love the old school guys, especially on their promos, because they get right to it and they cut great promos. However, this match, Undertaker versus Triple H, as much as I love me some Undertaker, I just cannot get with it, cannot get with the excitement, because it's Undertaker versus Triple H. Like, this is not 2005 or 2010 or whenever. It's 2018. And now we've added Kane and Shawn Michaels to the mix. It's like they're throwing in all the old fogies to the mix. Like, we can be giving this time to newer guys. And I mean, it's just not appealing to me to see Triple H versus Undertaker at Showdown, at Super Showdown. Or it's not appealing to me to see them get so much time to cut their promos as well. Nonetheless, Undertaker did a great job here. It was a very enjoyable promo. But moving on, we had Bayley versus Dana Brooke, and this is like a 2-minute match. And like, what are they doing with Bayley and Sasha? Like, at this point, I'm just so confused. It's just like they're on autopilot. And by the way, I love the thing that they did with the Counter Cure. If it's one thing that WWE always gets right, it's that. And it was just a very fantastic thing to see. But as it pertains to Bayley, as far as storyline wise, I don't know what they're doing with her. I don't know what they're doing with Dana Brooke. We had the split up with Titus Worldwide, but ever since then, Dana Brooke has been losing 3-minute matches with ease. Basically, squash matches. And while this wasn't a squash match in particular, it was basically a 2-minute match. Bayley gets the victory. Nobody really benefited here. When are they gonna talk about Bayley and Sasha's matches, or a match for Evolution? While Bayley and Sasha is doing nothing, they could have very well been building to their storylines for Evolution. But hey, what do I know? Moving on, we had AOP versus a couple of jobbers, and this was a squash match. 1-minute job, Super Collider, and that was it. I like what they're doing with AOP. I like that they are squashing out jobbers, and it's a very effective way to get guys over, especially big power guys. It's a very effective way to get those guys over. But eventually we have to get into some feuds with AOP before the job thing becomes stale and overused. So I like to see them get into a feud, be seriously involved with the tag titles once we get away from this Dolph, Drew, Seth, Dean storyline. So moving on, we had Seth Rollins and Ziggler, speaking of those guys, facing off for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a fantastic match. I didn't go as long as their normal matches, but I guess you could say that they were selling the Hell in a Cell bump, and that's why it didn't go as long as it did. And you know, I'd buy that as well. So as for the match, these guys have ridiculous chemistry, and it was another really good match that I enjoyed. That once it picked up, you can just see the in-ring talent of Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler alone. is just phenomenal. When you put them together, they already have excellent chemistry. That, like I said on Twitter, that is a formula for absolute bangers every time they get in the ring. So this was a banger. It wasn't as great as their other matches because it didn't go as long as their other matches, but it was a really good match. Seth Rollins retains, and I'm very interested to see where they go with the Intercontinental title from here. Are we gonna stick with Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler? Is somebody new coming into the Intercontinental Championship feud? We'll see how it all goes from here. From there, we had Ronda Rousey issuing the open challenge. She talked about how she wanted to be a great champion. She talked about how she wanted to be Bret Hart, Steve Austin, Ric Flair. A lot of cheap pops there. But she issued the open challenge. Natalya came out and she was dragged out, by the Riot Squad. And from there, the Riot Squad went to attack Ronda Rousey, but she was flinging them around, which led to the Bellas coming down and clearing the ring. And I know that this is building up to Super Showdown, Rousey and the Bellas versus the Riot Squad, but man, I have no interest in it whatsoever. WWE is totally stretching themselves thin when it comes to these builds. I mean, we got Super Showdown going here, we got WWE Crown Jewel going there, and Evolution is like caught in the middle. So we're building to all of these things. It's kind of a situation to where nothing gets solved because you're building toward too much stuff. As for the segment itself, I didn't find it to be interesting, but at least it's building towards something. Moving on, we had Elias come out and do his normal Elias thing where he plays his guitar, and this is really getting old because at this point, the crowd loves Elias, but we need him to actually do something as Elias besides play a guitar and get interrupted by someone. And speaking of interruptions, Lio Rush interrupted this segment. Elias had the funny line, "Whose kid is that?" I cracked up laughing. That was hilarious. Lio Rush did a phenomenal job in this segment of introducing himself and putting over Bobby Lashley. He's going to be a phenomenal mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley. I really think they have something there. So moving on, we had Lashley versus Elias, to which there was no interest on this match. It was all about Lio Rush talking about Bobby Lashley the entire 2 minutes that went for this match. I'll tell you what though, Elias hit a heck of a high knee as Bobby Lashley came to the top rope. That was a highlight of the match. But as the match went on, Kevin Owens came down to destroy Lio Rush, and we had a funny sequence of 20 seconds of Lio Rush avoiding and evading Kevin Owens and Elias, flipping and jumping, and eventually landing with Lashley in the ring as they had the Macho Man Miss Elizabeth celebration in the ring. And the match went to a no contest. Lashley and Lio Rush stands tall in the ring. So, I mean, this is kind of confusing. Is Lashley a face? Because Lio Rush is a clear heel, and he does a good job at that. Are we going to make this pairing a heel pairing, a face pairing? I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it all turns out. Lio Rush can be a solid mouthpiece for Lashley. I really think that Lashley, like, the guy was super entertaining in TNA and in Impact Wrestling. All of that didn't just wash away. I really think that it's just that he didn't fit in WWE or with their promos or whatnot. I don't know what happened, but he just didn't fit. And now they have something to go with. Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley could be very entertaining going forward. So we had a tag match after that. Mickie James versus Alicia Fox. Mickie James and Alicia Fox, versus Ember Moon and the partner of her choosing. She chose Nia Jax. Nia Jax got the big pop, the big return from Nia Jax. We haven't seen her in a while. This match in particular wasn't good at all. I guess some decent stuff between Ember Moon and Alicia Fox, but not really entertaining at all. Alicia Fox not doing a whole lot in this match. The highlight of the match was Nia Jax getting a hot tag and Nia Jax ragdolling Alicia Fox around. Look, if I'm Alicia Fox and I'm in WWE and I'm getting ragged all around by Ronda Rousey, then Nia Jax. Look, you got to pay me double to take all those bumps and to get ragged all around like that. Because, I mean, sheesh, they just throw Alicia Fox around like it's nothing. This match went 5 minutes or so. Ember Moon, Nia Jax picks up the victory. Not a great match. Not particularly something you should go back and watch for unless you want to hear the pop for Nia Jax or see the return for Nia Jax. Moving on, we had the championship match. Roman Reigns versus Constable Corbin. Look, the action was very slow in this match. Corbin was working a deliberate style, and it's already enough that I never really got invested into the match because, I mean, am I supposed to believe that Constable Corbin has a chance on this earth of beating Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship? Look, I couldn't get into the match anyways. It just made it worse that the action was very slow. To move on in the match, Constable Corbin threw a chair at Roman Reigns. We had a disqualification, but Baron Corbin restarted the match, which led to Braun Strowman coming down, and that led to Dolph and Drew coming down, which also led to Seth and Dean coming down. So we had the big interference, we had another brouhaha, and after all of that, that led to Roman Reigns picking up the victory over Constable Corbin. Look, I had no interest in this match whatsoever. I mean, we had another brouhaha in the match, which felt like Hell in a Cell all over again. But not an interesting match whatsoever. Roman Reigns remains the champion, and we're setting up another match, which looks like it's going to be slated for next pay-per-view, Super Showdown, a Crown Jewel, wherever, because we have like 2-3 different pay-per-views going down as well. So whenever they set up a match, something like we're building towards there. We'll see how it all sets up going forward. So that was the end of Monday Night Raw. Not particularly a really good Monday Night Raw or a good Monday Night Raw. There were some redeemable qualities of Monday Night Raw. You had Seth and Dolph facing off. Drew McIntyre and Dean Ambrose, that was a really good match as well. Those were the only redeemable qualities about this show. Undertaker had the promo, but I didn't find it particularly great. It was good enough, but I mean, I just don't have any interest in it because it's Undertaker versus Triple H. But that was about the only redeemable qualities about this show. Other than that, it was very skippable. So let me know what your thoughts are on Monday Night Raw down below. Did you like the show? Did you love the show? Did you hate the show? What did you like the most from the show? Let me know down below. Also, feel free to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to be notified of every video that I make.